Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Hell yeah, it is. In probably one of the busiest lead-up weeks ever to Christmas. I know you're getting absolutely destroyed, aren't you, mate? How's it going at your end?
Doing well. I've just been very busy with work and have been, busy trying to find time to wrap presents and things like that. It's been difficult.
Haven't even started that bit yet. It's been a busy old week in the McLeod residence. We've got Mother and Father McLeod visiting, which they'll get a good shout out at the end as well. So we've been trying to do some fun stuff, and Phoebe's been absolutely perfect with them. It's been great. It's like she's fallen in love with my dad. There she is. You might recognize. Speak of the devil. Anyway, yeah. So it's been an absolute pleasure. And also the other day, she was Mum was her favourite because she was giving her carrots for about 3 straight hours. So, she's enjoying her grandparents, aren't you, Phoebes? No bark. Right. Okay, then. Well, you may even see them on camera at some point. I might force them to jump on in the background. Anyway, Pat, mate, let's get on with the Full Force Weekly, shall we? The news has been coming thick and fast this week. And again, we have some weeks where it's 3 stories, but it's been fairly regular. And then all of a sudden we get these weeks that hammer us. And this is definitely one of those weeks, starting in comics news. The IDW G.I. Joe and Transformers licenses have been a hot topic of conversation this week, with them coming to an end next year, and now we are hearing that Skybound are aggressively chasing them both. An article from The Hollywood Reporter explaining that the imprint run by Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman is in negotiations with Hasbro to acquire the publishing license to the 2 properties. The article stated that Kirkman is known to be a major fan of the brands and has been personally involved in chasing the rights himself. However, he is not expected to write any of the new comics. If a deal goes through, then any Transformers or G.I. Joe books wouldn't be expected to hit shelves until 2023. What is interesting is that Skybound, which is also a film and television production entity that oversees the massive Walking Dead screen franchise, releases its books through Image Comics. The imprint is known for its long-running hits such as Invincible, adapted as a hit animated series for Amazon, Firepower, Birthright, and Manifest Destiny. Image had been touted as a possible landing spot for the licenses, so they could end up going through the company in some way or another after IDW relinquishes control. The fact that The Hollywood Reporter is posting this sort of article gives the recent rumours a lot more weight, and it looks almost inevitable that IDW will lose the licenses for these huge toy properties. As I've said on the last 2 comics news bursts and 2 weeklies in a row now, which we missed out on reporting this particular development at the time because, that's how timing works for us. I just hope we can get to A Real American Hero issue 300 and that brand new miniseries Saturday Morning Adventures. It would be a massive shame if those 2 things weren't able to happen. I also hope Larry Hama is able to continue his run on A Real American Hero, though whomever receives the license next, if indeed that is to happen, we'll see. There's still a small sliver of hope that IDW retains it, but with all reports coming out of the industry currently, that outcome does look unlikely, doesn't it, Pat?
Yeah, it really looks like this story is gaining some momentum and that there's more to it than just speculation. I'm kind of thinking that we really need to hope that Larry Hama gets out those, hits number 300 at least with IDW, because even if somebody else picks it up and carries on, it just feels like that milestone should be hit at IDW to me for some reason.
It should be hit at IDW and it should be hit by Larry, shouldn't it? There should be no question about those 2 things, really, I think.
Yeah. And then, of course, I would like to see Larry to continue working on it. Let him go as far as he wants to go. That's how I feel about that. And the Saturday Morning Adventures looks so good. I definitely am hoping to get as much as we can out of IDW before this changes hands.
Was Skybound a bit of a shock to you to hear that Kirkman was after it? Did you think, oh, that's a surprise? Because it wasn't one that really kind of jumped out to us when we were first talking about who could take over afterwards, was it?
Yeah, right. It didn't occur to me, but I wasn't really in speculation mode, because sometimes it's just a little pointless to speculate that much.
Yeah.
But after our discussion, it really just fell in place. Being an image imprint, it would just make a lot of sense for this to be what would be happening. And then also the Hollywood side of it could actually be a positive thing for us, the television half of Skybound. So, we'll see how that works out. It would be nice if there was the fact that somebody who has looked over The Walking Dead, the TV series, actually a couple of television series, technically, if they were able to also watch over G.I. Joe as a property for television, which I don't know if that would be part of the deal. I kind of doubt it, but it would be really cool if it was.
Yeah, you've got Amazon Skydance. You've got a couple of other companies kind of tied up in that at the moment. But again, not really sure where that's going, are we? Because we haven't heard anything about that kind of Lady J TV series for a long time. That's something I'm going to have to do some digging about. But yeah, you're right. If they could take over that, then that's another viable television option, 100%. Are you just checking the internet now for it?
I am, because I thought I saw something.
Because yeah, I mean, what Skybound as well, like that is it's an interesting one. Like I wasn't expecting it at all, but it seems like Robert Kirkman's a bit of a fan and does want those properties. So and it could also be that it was just that Kirkman saw the news that IDW would be coming to an end with the licenses and just tried to pounce on trying to steal it rather than knowing that it's actually going to be lost by IDW. But another actual story has popped up, hasn't it, Pat, recently? John Barber posted on Twitter the other day, I'm not sure if you saw this, like a whole thread about leaving IDW and saying that he was thanking the company for however many years of service, and then also to all of the friends and colleagues that he'd made over the years, and was actually, because his job title actually came up, didn't it, as a job opportunity for IDW, and then that got the speculation mill running as to what John Barber's next move was, if indeed he was actually out of a job, and it appears that is the case. So he is now looking, to do more creative endeavors, he said on Twitter.
Yeah, all this is kind of fits into the same story, where it's most definitely leaving IDW. Whether or not that means that it ends up at Skybound, I'm sure. Sometimes that can be complicated by the fact that information leaks. If it gets out sometimes before deals are finished, sometimes that can complicate things. But you never know. We'll see how this progresses. I'm sure that once we get offline, there will be another article.
Of course, once she finishes recording, on to the next one. And speaking of going on to the next one, Pat, let's move on to the next news story, and that is in mobile gaming news. Time's up for the mobile game G.I. Joe War on Cobra. D3 Go had allowed users to play for free during the final 3 months of its lifespan, which I wasn't aware of, which is annoying. But the inevitable day arrived last Saturday as it was shut down for good. The game was originally revealed to us in 2017 and saw a sort of unofficial beta testing phase before its official release in 2020, following the reveal of the classified series at New York Toy Fair. It went through one major change earlier in the year when it upgraded to a 2.0 version, fixing some user gripes and changing a number of the gameplay tactics. Unfortunately, in October of this year, it was revealed that D3 Go would be shutting the game down for good in December, and here we are. It's a real shame that the game didn't catch on with fans, but now we can look forward to the Wizards of the Coast video game. Pat, not really much to really talk about that we haven't already spoken about when we spoke about the kind of like the message they put out to say that they were actually going to be shutting this down, but it's quite a sad situation that it's come to an end the way it has.
Yeah, I kind of feel weird whenever it's one of these, tablet or mobile games that get shut down, because it's not like an old video game that can be found easily later. And that's what the archivist in me is the thing that's worried. I don't like to see things go away permanently. Yeah,
you're the museum curator of the Full Force podcast, aren't you?
I kind of feel like there should just be copies of this available, especially if it was available to play for free for 3 months. but I would imagine maybe they don't want people playing it because they want people playing the new game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Games get outdated. It's fine. I mean, I don't think that it damages new games by the fact that you can go play the amazing Nintendo game that we've talked about.
Exactly. Get the old Nintendo game out, or go to the arcade bar and play that one instead.
Right.
The Atari Action Force game, guys. Get that in you.
I'm still playing that. Forget all these new games.
Exactly. Yeah, you're still on that system. That's Pat's level. Again, it's sad. There will be something new, I suppose, that fills the gap eventually. But we're looking forward to the Wizard of the Coast video game, and that's something that I think is going to be probably, probably a few years off still. But I'm so excited for that. It just seems like such a more. Well, they're putting more money into it, so it's obviously going to be a bigger, better beast than we've seen in the past. As for mobile gaming, do you think they'll do any more? Do you think more G.I. Joe mobile games will appear? Or I mean, because it feels like they've tried it a number of times in different ways, and it just hasn't really caught on.
I think that's kind of the point of them going away, is to make space for new ones to come out. And with G.I. Joe popping up in additional media and the momentum that it has now, I think that it's a sure thing. Eventually there will be another G.I. Joe mobile game.
Yeah, very likely. Well, that's the end of War on Cobra. This kind of feels like a rest in peace segment, doesn't it? It feels like one of those like in memoriam things. Rest in peace, War on Cobra. And next up, Pat, we have some vinyl figure news, which was kind of cool. Here's another one that nearly snuck by us. Last weekend, award-winning vinyl figure company Mighty Jaxx revealed their brand new officially licensed Off-Work G.I. Joe 6.5-inch vinyl Snake Eyes figure. The Off-Work series delves into the fun idea of what your favourite heroes do in their spare time when they're not fighting bad guys or saving the world. Mighty Jaxx explained it in this way. Master of ninjutsu, master swordsman and bonsai enthusiast? Introducing Off-Work G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Ever wondered what this badass fighter does when the day's over? Wonder no more. Off-Work is a Mighty Jaxx original series that explores the lives of our favourite characters in their free time. The figure has Snake Eyes in his fancy dressing gown, which I actually want in real life, complete with modern G.I. Joe Eagle logo, a snake motif running across the bottom, and, of course, the Arashikage symbol. He's rocking what looks to be his Retaliation-era helmet design, which is one of my absolute favourite designs for sure. They've also given him a cup of coffee with number 1 Ninja written on it, and an iPhone with an incoming call from Scarlett. Adorable. I think his slippers are the best part of the overall aesthetic, seeing as they are little wolves and clearly a cute nod to Timber. One more thing I noticed was the scar on his throat, which you can just about make out in official images, and clearly a call out to the character's mute status. The figure stands at 6.5 inches, has interchangeable parts, and will come in at $69 or 3 monthly installments of $23. The figure launches on the 18th of December, which is actually today as you watch this, on mightyjaxx.com. Links in the description if you want to grab one of those. I do think this will make a fun addition to any pop culture vinyl collection, and I like the fact G.I. Joe is getting in there now with these quirky little figures. It makes me wonder how much fun you could have with even more characters like the obvious Destro or Cobra Commander, but now I want to see Crockmaster chillin', or even Zartan in his PJs. Pat, what are your thoughts regarding this rather random figure?
My first reaction to it was just thankful that it wasn't another big-headed G.I. Joe. That's really how I felt about it. I think that the figures with big heads, the super deformed look, is a playful look, but we've played that out. And whenever I saw this, I just felt that it was a very playful toy.
I was just thinking there, you've got loyal subjects twice. You've literally, because they did like a redesign of the whole body shapes, didn't they? And you've got What Not Toys, which didn't actually end up coming out, I don't think. The Monogram International little keychains. Are there more that I'm not thinking of? Oh, Funko Pop. Yeah, Funko Pop. And obviously Mini Funko and all that. Yeah, so you're right. It's been too much now, hasn't it? I think
and that's not just to say for G.I. Joe. It just seems like that's the go-to thing. Oh, we're doing vinyls. Well, what's the difference of our big-headed toy going to look like?
Yeah.
Are the eyes going to be a little weird? Is that what we're going to do?
The eye. Oh, yeah, that's what they
did. Tired of it.
The Whatnot toys, man, they terrified me. Those eyes were awful, like alien eyes. In terms of this figure, actually something I didn't mention before. He also comes with a bonsai tree and a pair of scissors that you can interchange, his hands, or you can interchange the thing. I think it's his hands you can interchange. That would make more sense. But I think it's really cute. I think it's really fun. I do kind of like vinyl figures anyway. Like I was kind of in that era where Kid Robot was really big. So I was kind of like, we went to New York once. Myself, my mates, Farn, Dom, and Ash, we went to New York this one year, and we visited the Kid Robot store before it was massive, before it was everywhere. It was like the one store in the random part of New York opposite the Apple store, right? Or a Apple store. There's many of them. And we went in there, and we actually bumped into Elizabeth Berkley from Saved by the Bell fame. Yeah, so that was really kind of cool. And so obviously I was kind of into the kind of Kid Robot vibe, those little vinyl figures. I've picked up a few in the past, like I got the Jay Dilla vinyl figure because I'm big into hip hop as well. And I bought them for friends. I bought the MF Doom one, which is really cool. So I've always kind of liked that vibe. So seeing them doing G.I. Joe stuff, I was like, oh, I kind of like this. It's fun, and it's like, it's cute, and it's that kind of like, I suppose, that trendy hipster kind of vinyl figure for any G.I. Joe collectors that are into that kind of thing.
Yeah, this one's not too serious. It's not a real serious Snake Eyes, obviously. And it has a few little pieces to it that help tell the story of the character. And I think that's way better than some of the other things that have come out in recent times.
All his like little slash mark, like scars on his shins as well. Like, yeah, he's been in a battle. Really into that. I think it's kind of fun. And like I said, it's out today as you watch this, so you can check out mightyjaxx.com. And how proud are you, Pat, that I've gone through an entire news burst and then this entire segment without saying Mighty Jaxx off work?
6-inch Snake Eyes.
6.5 inch, mate. It's important. Right. Next up, then we got all the giggles out of the way. This is not a fun show, guys. This is business, right? We're not here to have fun. We're here to tell you exactly all the facts, right, Pat?
You'd made it through again, and so I just wasn't going to say Mighty Jaxx
off work. 6.5 inch.
6.5 inch Snake
Eyes. Anyway, we did, and that's what you get because we are an absolute mess here at the Full Force. Next up, then, and probably I'm gonna say that till last, and I'm gonna jump in first to Toys R Us news. A few days ago, images emerged from the press preview event for the brand new flagship Toys R Us store at the American Dream complex in New Jersey. Select members of the press and a number of celebrities, this is probably a stretch, but including Nick Cannon and model Chanel Iman, were able to experience the brand new layout, including a huge retail space, brand displays, set pieces, Jeffrey's Cafe, a 2-story slide, and even an ice cream parlour. A bevy of images showcase the new layout, and it looks kind of fun. There is still no set date for the official opening, but it would appear as though it isn't far off now. As soon as the Hasbro Games Room arcade is officially open, I will very likely take a day trip to see it, as it's only about 3 hours from me. I will film the entire event to boot. Pat, will you be joining me?
Oh, that would be amazing, but we know I'm way busy right now.
We're going to go on Christmas Day, yeah? You up for that?
Yeah, sure. I'll be there.
Like we don't have other things that we're doing on Christmas Day. I still think that would be so much fun. It looks great. It looks like a fun store again, doesn't it? Like I missed the Manhattan one with the big Ferris wheel and all that kind of stuff. I think that was the flagship, wasn't it, originally? Once
they bought it, yeah, from FAO, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that felt like the main one. And I guess now it's going to be this American Dream one. Are you happy that it's kind of back?
I am. I'm really hoping that this is a success and that we get more stores. But the Toys R Us that's right by me is... they just put up the signs for it to be demolished and a gas station to go in.
Oh, so. That's awful. That's really putting it in the ground then, isn't it? That sucks. Oh, poor Jeffrey. I feel like, they should bury him under it, definitely, for that. I was in Macy's the other day. We with the obviously the folks around, so we were doing a bit of Christmas shopping for family. And we go into Macy's, and there's a sign, Big Jeffrey, on there saying "coming soon." So we're definitely going to be having one in that Macy's. So that's good shout. Providence Mall, Providence Place. So we'll have a little mini Toys R Us pop up there. But yeah, it still doesn't feel like the official, like it's here again, really, does it? It's still going to be on that very low level, tucked away in malls. That like it's going to be in a mall within a shop in a mall. So it's like the inception of Toys R Us.
It's not going to feel like it's here until I can visit Toys R Us and have it be a functioning business by the fact that I'm actually buying toys and finding things at Toys R Us. That to me is the measurement of, is it back or is it not?
Totally. And you kind of, it feels like it has to be in a certain size as well. It has to actually be in a big store, doesn't it? Like it can't just be like a little corner segment or anything like that. But
right.
The images from the flagship store looked amazing. And the ice cream parlor, the 2-story slide, I'm not sure how good they mix with kids. There's probably going to be a lot of vomit, isn't there?
Well, yeah, the two together could have to go in a certain order, but I think that those are interesting, good things to add to the Toys R Us experience. I mean, going to get ice cream is always a great thing for kids. So putting that in Toys R Us, yeah, that's some good thinking, I think.
Yeah, there's some really cool layouts there too, and it looks like they're going to just have all the brands that you kind of know and love. So that's another good kind of aspect to it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to kind of visit this when it's actually open. And I think we should leave it for a little while, but then definitely make a trip out there to see the Hasbro Games Room, to see there's the Nickelodeon place there. There's loads of stuff at that American Dream complex. It's huge. So I'm really interested to see what it's like. Anyway, that's enough of Toys R Us, and we will probably talk a little bit more about that in the future. No doubt this is probably not the end of our Toys R Us chat on the weekly or monthly or whatever episode it may be. But next up, and probably the biggest news of the week, and that is that in reaction news, earlier in the week, Big Bad Toy Store dropped the character list revealing Wave 2 of Super 7's G.I. Joe Reaction figure line, which had us all guessing at a few of the quirky characters. And on Thursday, Super 7 followed that up with official images of all the figures, stating they will be available to order in January. Winter Jacket Bazooka looks fantastic and does indeed look like his appearance from Pyramids of Darkness. Duke, Lady J, Major Blood and Storm Shadow all look fantastic and follow their standard designs from the cartoon. One major surprise to me was that the Games Master toy soldier turned out to be the Games Master drone from the same Games Master episode, who dons the Snow Serpent winter garb and might even be a precursor to the Snow Serpent in the future, looking at all that gear. It also turns out that the blue shirts relate to the generic Joe sailors from multiple episodes, and once again opens the door for another character in the future. Yeah, you guessed it, Dusty. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm talking about Shipwreck, of course. Finally, I called the Shock Trooper, but had no idea they would have green and blue and 3 different laser rifle variations, which I'm not 100% sure is necessary, but still cool to have lots of options nonetheless. Rest in peace, completists. I think the art is sublime on these cards as well, and look forward to seeing these in hand because I was really impressed with the first wave and can't wait to see even more fun homages from the animated series and comics. You can pre-order them right now on BBTS and Entertainment Earth, links in the description, or alternatively, wait until January to get them in stores and via Super 7. Pat, what do you think of this lineup first off?
I think that Wave 2 is moving in the direction that I was hoping this line would move. In addition to where I was hoping it would move, that's an awful lot of sailors. And I'm slightly concerned whether or not the market can absorb that many sailors.
Can anyone absorb that many sailors? Why does it always turn into these kind of horrendous... And anyway, yeah, moving on. The sailors, it's a lot of figures, isn't it? Clean-shaven, moustache and bearded, 3 different skin tones each. You're talking 9 figures to complete that wave, just on the blue shirts alone, as they are. But I guess maybe they're thinking like your flag, maybe like decking that crew out, with all these kind of like figures, which you could argue could be good background fodder even for O-ring figures on a flag. What would you say to that?
That's actually kind of what I was looking at this thinking, is that designs like the Shock Trooper are ones that I'm really happy to see. That's something
awesome,
though,
isn't
that
it? Yeah.
yeah, that's one that I wouldn't really have minded having as an
I
O-ring
was
figure
just
though.
about to say that. How good would that be as an O-ring or modern 4-inch?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a little bit of part of me that's like, well, some of these I want to see as O-ring figures, and some of them I'm actually okay with thinking of them as background characters that maybe I don't really need to have. I prefer GI Joe to be that, if it's going to be vintage, to be that O-ring style. But I think that we can now see what happened with Super 7, and these fit the Super 7 style and reaction, and I'm certain with Hasbro doing O-ring that option would just not have been available to Super 7.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that what they're doing is good, because this isn't really necessarily about us getting new GI Joe figures, but the Super 7 reaction line, if you really look at it, it's enormous.
Yeah.
And getting GI Joe to be a part of that actually gets GI Joe into the hands of an entire other segment of collectors. So I think largely that's what's going on here. But for me, I looked at these sailors and I just thought to myself, well, I hate to be a guy that, I don't want to be the guy that just waits for clearance. But I'm also not paying $20 each for 9 sailors. It's not going to do it.
It's not going to happen, is it?
No.
It's a lot of figures. I think when I look at like the actual, like the kind of standard lineup they've got there, I think obviously Duke makes a lot of sense. All of it. You got a few core in there: Lady J, Duke, Storm Shadow, Major Blood. That's pretty cool. Winter Jacket Bazooka was a lovely addition. I think it's a really cool like idea to do that version of the figure. I would probably argue, even like the movie obviously shows them in all their winter jackets and everything, but the Bazooka one stands out more for me because of that Pyramids of Darkness episode and the fact that he and Alpine are together, but Alpine's not, he's just wearing his gear, isn't he, effectively, I think, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of like normal garb. So it's cool that they're doing the Bazooka, in that winter gear first. But I suppose the other thing as well that kind of struck me, that Games Master toy soldier drone, that was like, I see now where they're going with this, because obviously they're going to look at a Snow Serpent next. Obviously they're going to look at Shipwreck next with the sailors. So they're thinking about this and like, what can they do first, or what can they do to, make some use out of some of these molds, because some of them don't even get used again. They make these unique molds and then they're never used again. And I'm talking about their entire back catalogue, not just their G.I. Joe line, but like, all of the stuff they've done in the past. They've done very specific molds and then never like touched it again. So it's weird. They must be stacking up steel tooling like an absolute maniac.
Yeah, I don't know. They may also just be A-okay with cutting the tooling or fitting that into the cost of every single figure, and maybe fitting into the cost of the figure selling the tooling for scrap. I have no idea what they're doing.
Either way, it's it's kind of mind-boggling to think if they, maybe they're scrapping it. I don't know.
Yeah, but these are some figures that I think we would never get from the standard G.I. Joe toy line, like the Game Master drone. That's the exact kind of thing that I'm hoping to get more of from the reaction line, because I do not think that would be a figure that would make sense to release from Hasbro, whether as a modern style figure or an O-ring figure. Of course, you probably could do a Snow Serpent and then throw an alternate head in there, but throwing an alternate head on an O-ring figure is not something that I really think that Hasbro is going to do. It would require us to open up an O-ring figure.
I know, it's going to be like either a bit of re-engineering they'd need to do, or it would be something where you'd have to unscrew the back and Hasbro don't want people to be doing that to the figures, even though they do that to the figures. They don't want that to be like they don't want to be
a requirement.
Yeah, they don't want to be making people do that. Yeah, no, I agree with that, mate. Totally. I think this is where Super 7's going to excel. It's in these like quirky moments, and this is what we discussed ages ago. It was all about the let's do the deepest cuts, the coolest homages, the figures we haven't seen done that's where it's going to come to fruition. And especially in the Sunbow cartoon, where there's a bit of a disconnect sometimes with the O-ring line, with the modern era, like the modern figures. There's a bit of a disconnect from Sunbow in that they go closer to the comics. They go closer to creating something updated or new or something that works. The Sunbow cartoon isn't somewhere that the O-ring or the modern era really thrive, is it? So this is, I think, where Super 7 can like live. It can live in the cartoon, and it can churn out these ridiculous figures that make no sense. And I love that. Yeah, I love the fact they're doing the drone. And funny enough, that figure appears for like maybe 4 or 5 seconds on screen. It's not very long. It's like they're literally stealing Cobra Commander in a coffin and walking off the side of the, and there's a shot from the front, and that's it. And you don't see them again. You see, obviously their normal get-up is in that original toy soldier costume. So yeah, I expect to see that toy soldier done again. Not to reuse anything, because there's nothing to necessarily reuse. But the way that they've gone, where they've shown us what they're going to be doing, I can see them doing those kind of figures.
Yeah, that's really this to me is a positive thing for the reaction line. I just really wonder about all those sailors. I mean, I guess you're right. It's going to be nice to have that variety on the USS flag.
I think that
is where these are going to be nice.
There's going to be some good toy photography on people's flags of just loads of these background sailors, and then like either the modern figures or the O-ring figures, maybe even the Sky Striker when it comes out on the deck of some flags. So yeah, I'm excited to see some of that stuff too. But yeah, I don't think I'm not going to be diving into 9 sailors. Kitty said. The other one there that's quite not a head scratcher, but one of those ones. It's like, oh, really? A, B, and C variants of this Shock Trooper. Very cool figure, but they've done 2 that are the same color but have different rifles, and then they've done a third green one again with a completely different rifle. So 3 different rifles, 2 different colors. What do you think about that?
Well, when ordering this on Big Bad Toy Store, they still don't have photos associated with those. Last I looked. And I'm sure that that's because they don't want to commit to which one is A, which one is B, and which one's C until they know for sure. Or, I don't exactly know how that's going to work as far as packaging goes, if there will be some indication of which one's A, which one's B, and which one's C. But
my logic suggests, when I look at the image of the 3 figures, right, because there are 3 and 2 of them are blue and one of them is green, or vice versa. Let me look at the image because I've completely forgotten which is which on that one. When I look at that image, I feel like you're looking at A, B, C. So A and B at the top and C at the bottom. That's how I envision it, kind of how they would like lay them out. And I believe, if I get there eventually, yep, there we are. Yeah, so the 2 top ones are green, I think. Yeah, so 2 green and 1 blue. So for me, I would expect that A and B would be the 2 same colors. Just the rifle variations, and then the blue one on its own would be the C variant because it's a different color as well. That's just how my logic kind of works it out. But like you say, that might not be the case, and they might pull something completely different out of the bag in terms of what's what.
Yeah, and I noticed that the rifle that is with the Cobra, what might be the A Shock Trooper, looks the same as the rifle that is with the Game Master drone.
Ah, interesting. I did not notice that.
So are the rifles that come with the other 2 from the Cobras? One of those from the Wave 1 Cobras?
That could be what they've done. They might have done, they might have done from the variations in the Cobra Troopers. They might have just, mix and match some of the rifles around. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, Pat. Yeah. It's still interesting that they've done that. One other thing I didn't mention, or I didn't even realise actually, with the sailors have got all those laser rifles. So you'll end up with loads of those Joe laser rifles, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's for sure a bonus. So that if you're getting all those, you can just pop them into the hand of a G.I. Joe. Like Lady J doesn't have one.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's great that she could then just be carrying one, as they often do.
Yeah, as they all seem to carry back in the day.
The art as well. How do you feel about the art on the package?
I think it's gorgeous. I think it's really cool as well. There's loads of like nice, like obviously Bazookas is cool because he's kneeling down. He's got the bazooka, like, he's about to use it. So that's awesome. Dukes is a really nice kind of version where he's actually pointing and he's got his rifle on his shoulder. Lady J's looks really cool. That again, like kind of pose ready to throw the spear. There's almost like, I'm surprised they didn't go full Sunbow, honestly. And you know, and obviously that's not. They're trying to kind of like balance between, I suppose, vintage and this kind of new style. But there's really nice kind of posing, some really nice artwork on there.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't go full Sunbow, because then, you know, wave one we actually had Quinn. So it leaves open the door to have even more stuff, obscure stuff from the comic book as well, and yet to have the reaction line look coherent.
Yeah, I guess that's why that's the balance, I guess, they're trying to find, isn't it? Like cartoon, comic, and then obviously vintage toy, which is really cool. I think the artwork, it's beautiful. I think some of the poses are really fun as well, like very indicative of that kind of vintage era. My favorite one is actually the Games Master drone. I love how it's like in that kind of like, I don't know, like there's a very familiar pose there that I've seen on maybe Firefly, maybe seen on like some other characters where they've, you know, I just think it's brilliant. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, it's maybe a little Falcon. Is that who I'm thinking?
Yeah, with the kind of where he's got the leg crossing coming across a little bit. Yeah, it's wicked. Really cool. I don't know who does that artwork. I'm sure they're gonna say. I'm sure they'll say at some point, or the artist will reveal themselves. I
just like the fact that they're not just reusing the package art from the original line. Because if they did that, trying to match Garrido with new characters, I think is difficult. And I don't want these to look exactly like the 25th or exactly like what we may be getting with the O-ring stuff coming out from Hasbro.
Yeah,
it's nice to have it different because the figures are not the same figures.
Absolutely. Okay, well that brings us to the end, Pat, of the news. We actually got through that in record time. So hopefully the shout-outs now won't take 6 hours like they usually do. But let's get stuck into shout-outs, mate. Do you want to go first? What shout-outs have you got for us?
Well, I will give a shout-out to Philip and Marv Wolfman. Hey. I felt so fortunate to be able to talk with Marv Wolfman last week. And, you know, Philip was entirely the reason why I was able to do that, unarticulated points. So Philip set that up and had some good questions, and it was a fun time. Definitely a peak moment for me.
That was great. It was great hearing from the man himself about like some of the Sunbow stuff that he did and his comics work, and just in general, like, you know, it was really cool. And I know we had and I know we had like myself, I think Adam was watching as well, throwing in questions constantly. We were all just like,
I really do appreciate you guys being there for that.
Not at all. We enjoyed it. It was great and
everybody else who showed up too. Other people showed up and it was great.
Absolutely. If you haven't checked it out, check it out on Articulated Points right now. Brilliant little kind of live episode of Articulated Points with Marv Wolfman, talking through his entire career. It was really cool, really fun. Awesome, man. Yeah. Any other shout outs?
Just everybody who's at work helping me get through that. And, shout out to the family trying to get some holiday stuff together. But other than that, no.
Does it feel like when you're at work, there's no way home? Get it? Spider-Man. Anyway, right, next up then. As always, big shout out to all the family, to my wonderful wife Kate, love you all, especially to my mum and dad who are here with me today to listen to me record this weekly episode. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hi, Pat.
Mum says hi, Pat.
Hello.
He says get lost. He didn't, he said hello, and you'll see that I was lying. So you can't see them because they're on the other side of the telly. But yeah, we've been having a great time while they've been here. Surreal moments, picking them up from Boston Airport in probably the worst traffic ever, by the way. So that's Boston traffic for it. It's horrendous. Anyway, they've seen all of the sights of the road so far. We've been out. Where have we been so far? We've been all over, haven't we? Yeah. Providence Mall. Did some shopping. The park. Took Phoebe to the park and took the parents for a walk around on their leashes. We've been to Walgreens. Where else did we go? Is that it? Oh no, we went to that pretty outdoor shopping place in Cranston. That everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, I know that. But it's got Fat Face there. It's got Anthropology and Crate and Barrel, the fancy store, the big fancy stores for your houses and stuff like that. It's nice. It's a really nice place. So we've been there. It's been fun. It's been lovely to see you for the first time in about 2 years. Yeah, we're going to Missouri in a couple of days tomorrow. The day that you're seeing this, we'll be driving to Missouri. So feel sorry for us all. Actually, we're going to Ohio first. So we're going to pop in and see the Dietrichs. So hi to Roma Collectibles and the crew, and Kenny. And Ryan and Molly, and I think that's everyone, isn't it, that we're going to be seeing? Hopefully, well, we'll hopefully see as many as we can.
You're going to stop by the new store?
Yes, we're going to stop by the new store. We're going to go see the Air Force Museum. We're going to do all the cool stuff. Not all the cool stuff. That's in Fordingbridge. Shout out to Dave Tree. And then on to Missouri for Christmas, and then back to seeing in the new year with everyone as well, which is great. And then we'll be sending the folks off on the 4th of January. So yeah, lovely to have them here. And it's weird they've all to sit here in quiet, in silence while I record this. So appreciate that, and also appreciate Pat for coming on early to do this, mate. Anyway,
I appreciate being on as usual.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you, guys. There you go. To Brian Sauer for the awesome Tiger Force graphics, which are just amazing, obviously. Official winter is actually on the 21st of December this year, so we will be switching to winter graphics after the Christmas special, which has even more special graphics coming. So you're going to get multiple graphics from Brian Sauer, who's working around the clock to get all that done. Big shout outs as well. First off to Gavin Chilston for his amazing Christmas card, and these little Colin Arthur's Action Force Christmas cards, Action Force sketch cards. How cool are they?
Oh wow, that's cool.
Aren't they nice? So Collart does these beautiful, he's a great artist. He's done an amazing zombie Baroness, like a Baroness Ironblood for Kate as well, which we got custom done. So that one's the Panther and Stalker, and it's on bricks, which is brilliant. And this cute one as well is Space Force, and it's getting a park it ticket in space, which is brilliant. He's been clamped as well on his satellite defense. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. So thank you. One, obviously, to Colin Arthurs, who does amazing work, and obviously to Gav, who sent us this Christmas card as well with lots of stickers and little snake eyes drawings. So thanks, Gav. Really appreciate that, mate. Lovely, lovely thing to do. And all I'm going to say is thanks. You're not getting anything from us. I'm just kidding. Also, big shout out to the Wag Bros, aka Paige and Greg Wagner, who sent me not just this little card. I'll read it out to you first. You have been drafted by Cobra. Hang these on your Christmas tree until you have received your activation orders. Mass activation code 122521. Merry Christmas, CC. So Cobra Commander, little message from him. What could mass have to do with this, perhaps? Well, look at these. They sent me the mass device elements as Christmas decorations in test tubes. Isn't that the most adorable thing you have ever seen? Look, Pat, we've got heavy water, which is amazing.
Amazing.
I think
that I want footage of them actually retrieving these.
Yes! Oh, could you imagine Paige and Greg underwater in their wetsuits trying to fight off Destro? Look at this. You got the little kind of pink crystals. Oh, I forget the name of that mass element. And then the yellow crystals as well. Isn't that adorable? Isn't that the coolest thing ever?
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Yeah, that's nice.
Love it. So massive thanks to the Wag Bros for that. And I open it and I see the first one on. I saw the card on the top and I picked the card up and then I saw this sticking out and I'm like, what on earth have they sent me? Can I drink this? What is this? What is it going to be? And then I looked at the card and I'm like, oh. And then I saw the others in there and it was just like unbelievable. So amazing stuff, guys. Thank you so much for that. Absolute pleasure. We have the best friends, don't we? They're great. So yeah, big shout out to the Wag Bros. Big shout out to Gav. Where am I on my Micro Machines calendar? Well, I'll show you some of the things that have come in recently in the Micro Machines calendar since we last did this. Been a few, actually. My goodness. All these little vehicles. I'll just show you the cars for now. But there's lots of little cute kind of accessories as well. But I got this on the 11th. Number 11, look. Little red truck with a little tyre on the back. Look at that. Amazing. Got this little gold car. Look at that. It's really awesome. There's been some amazing little things in this advent calendar. I think I showed this last week, didn't I, Pat? The gold and
maybe so.
Gold and green one, or yellow and green one. Don't think I showed this one though. A nice little orange and white number. Lots of little sports cars, which are great. And this is from the G.I. Joe set, isn't it? But like done as a different deco. So we've got like a nice little Christmas jet there. Isn't that wicked?
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see if the Vamp or the Whale or Mobat show up.
Oh, that would be great. I don't think they do though, because they tell you exactly what's in there, and I only saw the plane.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, still got some to open for that. So, and again, there's been some other cute things like this snowman, for example. So they had these little accessories that come in there as well. So they're not always Micro Machines vehicles. Sometimes they have these cute accessories. And look at this. A friggin' sleigh with Micro Machines on the star at the back there. Amazing.
Does it tow something? What's going on in the back there?
I think you've got like a little tow thing on the back where you can kind of pull, or the car can hook up to it. I think it's for this little truck, and then you pop it in there like that.
Oh,
and then you can tow the actual sleigh itself. Isn't that cute? So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, and a fuel pump, which is adorable. So you can kind of build out like a little diorama, which is great. Anyway, loads of stuff since I last spoke to you. What did you get in yours? Didn't you get like some cool stuff? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, oh, that's amazing. The barn alien.
Doc and Marty.
That's fantastic. In the radiation suits. That's wicked.
Yeah, and then
oh, the Twin Pines Mall sign.
Twin Pines Mall, but then also...
You flip it and it's Lone Pine. That's brilliant. I was just about to say, has it got the Lone Pine one on it as well?
Yeah, so really great stuff. Yeah, and then of course I got the Part 3 one, and I left that Advent at work, so I've been opening that up, and it has had some really great stuff in it as well, like a conversion kit for the DeLorean, actually, for it to have like the white wall tires. I've already gotten those in the hood box, so it's really cool.
Awesome, man. Wicked. Well,
you know what else somebody pointed out to me that's really cool, that may be worth mentioning? For $1 worth of fun, this is amazing.
That is brilliant.
It's a Hot Wheels car that actually is compatible with Lego minifigures.
No way.
So
officially,
$1 worth of fun.
Officially, or is it a Dollar General kind of maneuver?
No, this is a Mattel branded Hot Wheels vehicle that is in stores now, and it actually says on it, Hot Wheels Ride-Ons #1. So I think that it's going to be a series. And I mean, they've put a lot of spots in there because at this point, the brick system is not something Lego can protect and do on their own or by themselves. So Hot Wheels is free to include some of that. And they actually did a car at one point that just had spots for bricks at the top, so you could build whatever you wanted on the Hot Wheels chassis. But you can see that it has like the spots to link things in there. The exhaust is the right size.
That's amazing.
And then if you look at like the spoiler, it actually is angled so that a figure can be just grabbing onto that, or grabbing onto the front end, or holding onto this, or sitting down, or as I had Sophie here, just standing on the engine.
Fantastic.
Crazy. It's $1 worth of fun. Somebody pointed out to me. I thought that would be worth mentioning.
Absolutely, man.
Not G.I. Joe related, but
well, can you,
I was kind of amazed at what you get for $1.
Can you squeeze a Creo on there as well? Or
yes, you can.
Perfect. Right then, that brings us to the end of the episode, buddy. Of course, we continue to support the LGBTQ plus community, and as always, stand fast with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in saying Stop Asian Hate. We do not discriminate against any minority and want the show to be a fun and safe environment for anybody, no matter their background. To our patrons, listeners, and viewers, thank you so much. We've had even more jumping on and joining in, so we really appreciate all that. In the new year, I will be doing a live Q&A Patreon special. which will be kind of happening in January. So our patrons can look out for that. So I'll be doing that'll be for the Red Shadow Army and Full Force SAS patrons. So kind of linking in with the Intel episodes, you'll get like a little live Q&A where you can join in and chat, and we can have a little hour's worth together. But we'll be doing that in January. And again, thanks to everybody for listening, communicating with us, interacting. We really, really appreciate it. And that brings us to the end of another show. Pat, thanks for jumping on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching the Full Force Weekly. Massive thank you to my awesome co-host, Patrick Notpicard Stewart. See you next time. And as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3...
Full Force!
Everyone
did
did it.
Can I get my timing better?
Yeah, you got it terribly, so that's perfect.
Philip told me if I was just a little bit earlier, I'd be good.
No, it's better that it's off, and I prefer it, and I'm glad everyone else did it as well, thank you. I wasn't expecting everyone else to do it. I was hoping Phoebe would, but she didn't. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/The Full Force, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.